Hi managers, welcome to another video. Dr. Bowen here. This is Issues Management, which is Chapter 10, Part 2 of a 2-video series. It's getting slow to upload even when the video is short, so I'm striving to make them quicker and quicker. So, to answer our parking lot crime issue that I ended the last video with, if you were the issues manager, you would want to do some research among your other sites. You would want to find out the extent of the crime, how often there is crime in your parking lots, if any, and you would want to come up with ways to address that situation. Those types of issues management alternatives that you might create could be things like installing new lights in the parking system, putting in a van to take employees from satellite lots to the facility, finding a company to do research on foot or drive-through basis, etc. But you would want to do some research with your employees before you implemented those steps because you want to get their ideas in a two-way symmetrical dialogue fashion. So that's just one small example. There are lots of other things you could do, but to move forward, I just wanted to briefly cover the steps in the issues management process in case when you're watching this your textbook is not in front of you, but I do expect you to read the chart and know it thoroughly. The first is to identify trends and public expectations. You want to do issue scanning and environmental scanning all the time, perpetually on an ongoing basis, using many channels of data collection. The second is to evaluate the impact of potential issues and set priorities. You want to determine which issues may decimate the organization and which wouldn't be that big of a deal, and then obviously deal with the more pressing issues first and put the most resources toward addressing those. You want to do research and analysis on those issues, lots of formats, informal, formal, secondary, and primary. Original data collection is often conducted in issues management research. And then, of course, you want to think about the ethical aspects of the issue. You want to talk to the stakeholders involved and find out what their values are and how they'd like to see the issue resolved. Then, of course, you want to consider all these aspects and develop a strategy and a policy with your management team. You may change the internal policy inside the organization, such as what you do to handle employee safety, or it may be a more external policy initiative, such as hiring a lobbying firm to educate legislators on what the organization does, its economic impact, and other things around the issue that they need to know to make an informed choice. The fifth would be to implement the strategy and a communication campaign around that new strategy, which I guess I jumped ahead. Lobbying would be part of that. But of course, some of these run together, and ongoing implementation of communication could involve numerous channels. Media relations could be part of that, as well as employee communication using alumni groups such as your Glassdoor or LinkedIn group and so on. The final step is to evaluate the impact of your issues management activities. Did you accomplish change? Did you make the amount of change you needed to? If you don't get the results, you need to modify your campaign or do more research. So keep in mind, regulations are expensive for the organization. You're seeking to create your own internal policy most of the time rather than have it foisted on you from external sources, because when you lose autonomy, you also lose the expertise of your strategic management team and how you can competitively manage the issue. Keep in mind there are 4 strategic approaches to an issue that you can take. Proactive, and that's defining the issue in terms of public policy. Interactive, and that's an integrative stance in which you define the issue and potential resolutions with other interested parties, stakeholders, even competitors and your industry association as well. Or inactive, in which you're doing nothing and accommodating, probably for a low priority issue. And then reactive, in which you're fighting the issue or fighting change, but that's a risky approach because it might be forced upon you. Forced change comes in the manner of regulations or being forced to break up the organization and so on. So these are some things to think about in terms of issues management, but I do want you to know the chart from our book on page 105. I want you to know the issues management process and all the detailed bullet points beneath it, and think through some potential issues that your organization or future type of organization may face. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Have a great evening. Bye.